Using the missed questions of a learner, I'm going to do a general video on finding the x and y intercepts of a line. I'm going to start by clicking on the missed question. Okay, so find the x and y intercepts of y equals x over 2 minus 7. Okay, so when we do this, so let me clear my board here. Okay, so there's the equation. Okay, and their errors might have just been simple ones, like they put it in wrong or backwards. So, but we're gonna work through this. So y equals x over 2 minus 7. Okay, so our x-intercept, it's the place where the line crosses the x-axis. So I know that my answer is going to be 0 for the y, because we won't be going anywhere with the y, but we are going somewhere with the x. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to substitute that 0 in for the y in the equation. So I'm going to put a 0 here, and then the rest of the equation is going to be the same, x over 2 minus 7. And then what I'm going to do to clear that fraction out of there is I'm going to multiply everything by 2. So that I'll clear that fraction. So 2 times 0 is still going to be 2. Here the 2's are going to cancel out, so it's just going to be plain x. And then we're going to have minus 7 times 2, which is minus 14. Okay, so now that we cleared that 2 out of there, that makes this equation a little bit easier. So all I have to do to get my x by itself is to add 14 to both sides. Okay, and then we have 16 equals x. So that's going to be my x-intercept. Now for my y-intercept, we're going to do the opposite of what we just did. And it's going to be 0 in for x, and we don't know the y yet. So I'm going to do this one in a different color. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to substitute a 0 in for x. So y equals 0 over 2 minus 7. Well, because that is a 0 right there, that becomes y equals 0 minus 7. I'm not going to multiply like I did here. And y is going to become negative 7. So that's my response for that one. That one was pretty easy. Okay, so let's go back and look at the original equation that they had. They got one, but not the other. Okay, they got 14. Did I mess up my... Yes, I did. Where did I... Oh, ha! Yeah, you'll have to forgive me. See, I make mistakes too. Okay. They told us in teaching school to make mistakes on purpose so that students see that we were human. I said, I don't need to do it on purpose. I do it by accident all the time. So this is supposed to be a 0. And I'm still going to add 14 to both sides. 14, and so that's going to give me a 14. All right, let's do another one so that we can so that I can redeem myself here. Okay, so we have the equation of y equals 3x over 5 plus 4. So I'm going to clear this screen and I'm going to restart again. And I'm going to learn from my mistake. So y equals 3x over 5 plus 4. So my x-intercept, I'm going to abbreviate here, is going to be something 0. And then my y-intercept is going to be 0 something. Okay, so I'm going to start with my x-intercept. I'm going to put a 0 in for y equals 3x over 5 plus 4. And then I'm on this one, because it's not working out, I'm going to multiply the whole thing by 5 to get rid of our fraction. 5 times 0 is going to give me 0. 5 times this is, my 5's are going to cancel, so that's going to give me a 3x. And 5 times 4 is plus 20. And now all I have to do is to is to solve for x. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to divide this operation right here, subtraction. So that's going to give me a negative 20 equals 3x, because on this side it canceled out. Okay, so then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to divide by 3 because I want to get that x by itself, and that's going to give me a negative 20 over 3 equals x. So negative 20 over 3 equals x, because right here our x 3's canceled out. Okay, so that answer, so negative 20 over 3 is my x-intercept. Now let's do the y-intercept. Okay, so on my y-intercept, I'm going to have y equals 3, and then I'm going to put a 0 here over 5 plus 4. Now, the other thing, I'll tell you something, a little tip and trick that I'll tell you in a minute. We're going to go ahead and finish solving this. So y equals 0 plus 4, or y equals 4. Okay, so my answer will be 4 here. When the equation is in this format, this is the y equals mx plus b format. When it's like that, we know that b is our y-intercept. So I didn't even really have to go through that process of solving for it. All I had to do was look at it and say, oh, there's my 4. And what that means is that's where it goes, right here. And our x is 0. Don't forget that we still have to have an x coordinate in order to be able to have a full point for an interception. So that's why that would have to be like that. But that's, yeah, so the y-intercept will come out like this. Now let's look at this. Now, they got close. And the correct answer was exactly what we said, negative 20 over 3, 0, and then 0, 4 were our answers. So that's how you're going to find your y and x intercepts in an equation. And if your equation is like this one, you can see your y-intercept right away. In the previous one, it was the same thing. It would have been negative 7. We could have seen it right there. So hopefully it's when they're in a different format that you really have to do the work for it. That's the format that I'm talking about. For this one, you have to do a little bit more work, but it's actually really easy because when you substitute in for it, that term just goes away. And so you have to actually solve for it, but it's a little bit easier to solve. So, okay, hopefully this helps you with finding the x and y intercepts of your equation.